Welcome back, Crusaders. This is Crusade with me, your place of reflection, boldness, and sacred pursuit of becoming. Each week, we journey toward the narrow road, the ancient path that leads not just forward, but home, back to Eden. But to walk the road, we must know who's walking it. And so today, I want to begin not with advice or insight, but with pause. Take a breath, not just in your chest, but in your soul. Feel your feet beneath you. Close your eyes, well, unless you're driving. And picture yourself in front of a mirror. Not just a reflection of your face, but of your heart, your habits, your hidden places. Now, listen. Well, good morning, my queen. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
I know you are. I mean, you have like 0% Native American in you, which is a little bit different than me, but you are perched there sitting with wounded knee.
The tiniest of thing created like a gush of blood. And now my pajama pants are soaking in
And I thought you were going to do this
peroxide.
pantless, but you
No.
decided it was too cool here
Yeah.
to.
I wasn't going to go pantless regardless, but no.
I think that should be a challenge. Anyway,
I scratched my knee, and then all of a sudden I felt this cold burst of
blood.
stuff running down my leg, and I'm like, what is that? And I looked down and looked like I had
Yeah, I get it. So no, we had a productive week. Back in the saddle again, out where a friend. Anyway, I'll bet 99% of listeners have no idea who sang that song.
yippee-yi-yi. And we watched an old classic
Oh,
movie
last night, yes,
night.
yeah, and laughed. It's been a long time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that classic was
Smokey and the Bandit.
And boy, was Bert and
Sally Field.
Sally was young.
Yes, she was.
in that movie.
And it was 1976. Or 77, but yeah. I think it was 76.
Well, I mean, we have a son-in-law who's a truck driver, and our son was a truck driver for a while, so
Yep.
we love that. I remember I had a friend in middle school and high school, and her dad was a truck driver, and her mom had a CB in their kitchen so that she
so they
could
could talk to him.
Yeah, when he was, and I thought that was the coolest thing.
I remember when my mom and dad had a CB in their car. We always had. Well, it was a progression. I had received walkie-talkies for Christmas one year, and we were driving what I would reference as the Blue Highway going 41 south, which is back to Tennessee.
Yeah.
And using those walkie-talkies. They were actually pretty good walkie-talkies. Mom and Dad didn't skimp on them, but walkie-talkies in the mid-'70s were not quite
Like, no.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were
yeah.
pretty advanced.
And couldn't, if my brother-in-law, and the guy will remain unnamed. Hint, hint.
A guy.
Yeah,
A guy.
yeah. And he never generally lingered too far behind, and Dad always led.
Mm-hmm.
And watching that movie just made me think back, because the cars at that time, what the police were driving in that movie were Pontiac Catalinas, and Mom and Dad had a Pontiac Catalina, and Dad always said it was the right color because it was yellow, and it was definitely a lemon. But anyway, that was Dad. Anyway, yeah. So we had a productive week, and we finished it off, I think, well with, you had we did share last week, I think, in one of the episodes a little bit about you and we've talked repeatedly about chronic illness, and then we got into some of that. And I had actually taken some time off yesterday, which was Friday, because we do all these episodes on a Saturday. And had an appointment with a top-notch doctor who he had actually performed surgery on you in 2018? No.
2011.
2011. And saw him again yesterday, and he hadn't changed a lick.
Nope.
According to you.
Nope.
I didn't know it was him, because it didn't look anything like what I remembered, because I think I'd even told you. His look and mannerisms reminded me of this other doctor that we used to have, and you're like, nah. So you were really kind to me by saying, he looks nothing like the guy I had mentioned to you earlier.
No. He's a super.
He is. And he is what is his title again?
He's a neurotologist.
So he's basically a doctor for anything the neck up.
Right. Well,
right.
For me, it's how the brain and the ear work together, or how they don't work together.
Right.
So he can do brain and ear surgeries together.
So, and without getting into any specificity, it was a great visit, and
hopeful.
Yes, and made you, I think, much more comfortable knowing that you'd had some episodes here in the last month that were
8.
I know.
We counted them.
I know.
Yeah. So yes, we're walking away with a plan, a new plan.
Right.
I mean, not really a new plan. I mean, besides my Meniere's, I have MAV, which is migraine associated vertigo, which means you don't have to have a headache with a migraine. And so we think that is the new trigger, which brings me relief, because we thought that we were in the burnout
You were having
stage.
a little PTSD for a bit,
Yeah. So we're going to treat that. I mean, we've been treating it, but we're going to hit it a little harder.
Yeah,
with medication, we've been treating
Yeah,
the
yeah,
migraines for years, since I was like 15 years old, but didn't know that I had the vertigo aspect of that. So we're going to hit that hard with a diet of nothing.
Cardboard and salt.
Right.
No.
And we're going to reintroduce things and find out what my trigger is. And
Correct.
So, I mean, I can do that. I
Yeah,
absolutely can do that, so that I can feel better and not be so lightheady and spinny and all that good stuff. So
yes.
that's
really
better news than where we were.
Praise be to God, right? Seriously.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think you were,
Yeah, and we're going to get a little physical therapy, a little massage therapy for the neck and the
I did think it
shoulder.
was funny, because the way he was talking about, okay, I want you to take these supplements, and I just don't hear a lot of doctors say that type of stuff. So I was really encouraged. And then when you were talking about, he was talking about physical therapy and adjusting your neck and things of that nature that could help. I thought it was almost humorous, because first of all, this guy has an awesome bedside manner. He really does. Talk about polite, nice, professional. He is really, and he will allow some jokes. I mean, he doesn't frown at them. He just kind of smiles. I don't think he knows how to take our humor.
Yeah. But most intelligent people are like that. They're kind of
Yeah,
straight-laced. But
yeah,
he
yeah.
does joke a little bit.
And when he was talking about the physical therapy, and you ask him, so that means I got to go to a chiropractor?
No, I said, does that mean I can get a massage?
No. Then you said, do you mean go to a chiropractor? And he got this look on his face like he was looking down his nose at you, like. And my boss calls chiropractic practices witchcraft or witch doctors. And I'm like, well, he's probably too young to have to need an adjustment to where you can't walk when you come in, but you feel wonderful when you walk out. And until you have that moment,
Right.
then you start to appreciate
Yeah.
him. Didn't we know a guy where we used to live? Wasn't he a chiropractor, but he also did it on animals? Didn't he do that? Didn't that one guy there that was in that one building?
I don't know if he did
I
it or
think
not.
my princess told me that guy also went out and adjusted some horses.
I don't know, because I would have never gone to him had I known that.
I would. I'm like, if you could adjust a horse, you could probably adjust me. But anyway, and hey, for transparency, this is, I'm starting to put some bullet points and notes together for every episode. And I think we had said long time ago that we do nothing to prepare. I've started doing a little bit more preparation, right? Because I think I want these things to flow and I want them to be connected a little bit and make sense. Not that that's the end all be all.
Not that you share any of that.
No,
those
so
bullet
you
points with
were
me.
really blind.
Yeah, you always sit down and you say, "Are you ready?" And I'm like,
As ready as you'll ever be.
I guess, because I certainly don't know where this is headed. You tell me the title as I'm sitting down.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know where this is going.
So this is Rev 1. I did make a Rev 2 and then I scrapped it. I decided when I talked for the bullet points because I thought initially, and we have an upcoming deal with, but it's not this month. It's not
July.
June. It's in July. I have to do that public announcing for a county fair, equestrian portion of the fair. And my knowledge of equestrians is I know which end the hay goes in and I know which end it comes out. But beyond that, I'm not that good at. And I've ridden a lot of horses, or I've held on to a lot of horses as they've maneuvered, not necessarily riding and controlling. Although I did have a John Wayne moment back 40 plus years when we were dating, and you and I were out horseback riding, and
my horse did not want to.
No, and was rearing up.
Controlled.
No, and ended up almost not being able to drive back to our hotel. Remember, we got a hotel. Don't say that. I don't want my mother-in-law to hear it. You were evil back then, but anyway. What did we do with our hotel? We ate donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
We went and got a dozen donuts. We went and got a hotel. We went horseback riding. We stopped and I think we got the donuts before we even went horseback riding, because after the horseback riding, because I thought I was running my horse and I was a good 150 yards away from you when your horse was rearing up and on its hind legs, and you were almost holding on to the horse's neck and screaming, which always helps a horse's attitude.
Course.
So I rode back at speed, and instead of getting off my horse and trying to calm your horse down, I thought I'd play John Wayne and just grabbed the reins from my saddle, and that didn't work out real well, and I caught a hoof on my right thigh as the horse came down and produced a bruise. And thank God it didn't break my leg, but I thought it had.
Yeah. This is before I knew that horses had buttons. I didn't know that horses had buttons. I thought somebody was pulling my leg.
And so I had initially did some bullet points with this with an equestrian theme, okay?
Oh, okay.
All right. And for some horse people that listen, and predominantly my princess. All right, I'll be candid, because I'm predominantly my princess and my sweet pea, who are. And look, all right, that is a great community. If you know anybody who's what I refer to as horse people, they have horses, they show horses, they do all this stuff. God bless them. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're freaking crazy. They're not. I mean, I would never do that. I told
Yeah.
Tanya.
Tanya. You don't have
That's-
ribeye here to correct you. But,
I know. But owning a horse is like having a 1,200-pound dog.
uh-huh.
I might have told Jim that.
Uh-huh.
And he told me I wasn't wrong.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But, a 1,200-pound animal will eat significantly more than a 80-pound dog or a 12-pound dog. And the other crazy, I'd actually seen this, and I shared this with another person who was a quote-unquote horse person. A lot of them, I don't know if it's in the contract when you buy a horse. Do you have to buy a golf cart? Because they all seem to have a horse and a golf cart, right?
Well, I think there's a lot of things to transport from place to place.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
know.
convenient.
But man, can they load up stuff on a golf cart?
Uh-huh.
I mean, they can load a golf cart.
Right.
Anyway, I'm
You
so this is
digress.
not, I digress. This is not the episode. I will eventually, as we draw closer to next month, July, I will probably shift gears and we might do an equestrian type episode for or a week-long episodes for people preparing for fair, because that'll be the county fair season,
Right.
I think. It seemed like it was much later when we were in Arkansas.
They did do it in like September. The
Yeah, because
kids
of the
were out of
heat.
school and
Yeah, because of the
So-
heat.
the southern region.
Yeah. But where we're at, we're up north, way up
North.
north.
Way up
Anyway, we will do it. So that's coming for all those crazy horse people.
You're just making friends all over the place.
I say that most affectionately. All right, I do. I don't mean to be. I enjoy them. Even when we went to that sorting here, almost in our backyard.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who that guy was. He was kind of the main sponsor and the older guy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But, I enjoyed sitting at the picnic table, just chatting with him there.
Because you truly do make friends everywhere you go.
I don't know about friends, but anyway. So today's episode is titled. This harkens back to last week. I thought we had some pretty serious episodes last week, and I got some feedback, and they were talking about, I don't know how you record these ahead of time, and this thing drops on a Thursday, and it hits me on Friday really hard. And I know that wasn't the intent, because I know you did it. But so, you know what? That's great feedback, and I'm glad to hear that. However,
Well, you try to be led by the Spirit, right?
I do.
mean,
Yeah, I do. But that's where we're at today, right? Today's Saturday, and this episode won't drop till Sunday, tomorrow. And then we're going to record two more. One will drop on Tuesday and one will drop on Thursday. So, this one's entitled Facing the Mirror. This is episode 72, Facing the Mirror. The Truth About You. And so let me begin with these words from the book of James, chapter 1, and these are verses 23 through 25. And it is written, anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like someone who looks at his face in a mirror and, after looking at himself, goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But whoever looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues in it, not forgetting what they had heard, but doing it, they will be blessed in what they do. Let's pause right there.
It's meaty.
Mirrors are everywhere today. On our phones, in our homes, in our social media feeds. But the kind of mirror James speaks of isn't about appearance. It's spiritual. a mirror for the soul. So to walk the narrow road back to Eden, we must be willing to see ourselves, not as the world defines us, not as others describe us, but as we truly are.
Mm.
Not all of that is easy. Some of it's hard. Some of it's beautiful. And some of it is broken. But the mirror is not your enemy. It's your invitation. It says, you are more than what you've settled for. You were made for Eden. But first, see what's in the way. So let's get real. Every one of us is pretending not to know something.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I'm going to say that one more time because I want you to really hear what I'm saying. Everyone is pretending to not know something. We pretend we don't feel the distance between our hearts and God. We pretend we're fine with that relationship, even though it keeps us small. We pretend we don't hear the quiet whisper saying, "This isn't who you are." And this is the power of the mirror. It asks questions no one else dares to ask. So here's your first reflection practice. We need to start doing a daily check-in. You need to ask yourself, what are you pretending not to know? Say it out loud. Whisper it in prayer. Write it down. You know, I'm a huge fan of writing stuff down, right? That's why, I carried a Franklin Covey planner for 20 years, and I took a lot of notes. And I'd been criticized for not reading my own notes, which is true. And now I have a Remarkable, which is an electronic version of a Franklin Covey planner, basically. Writing things down in my world is huge and important. And when I write it down, I tend to remember, or at least generally able to recall. Write it down. What have you buried under distraction? Under excuses? Under pride? Because the moment you name it, you begin to reclaim the ground. Now, let me be real clear. This is not about shaming yourself. This is not about spiraling into guilt or beating yourself up. That's not the point of this. And that's not the way of Christ. That's not the way of the true path. Just look at this as gentle exposure. It's like the first rays of sun hitting a frost-covered window. We've seen that here, right? Many times. The light warms, it melts, it reveals. That's what the Spirit of God does when we let Him in. In Psalm 139, 23 and 24, it is written, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." This isn't just a verse. Psalm 139 is a spiritual tool. Use it. Pray it. Let it sit in your bones. Here are your spiritual action steps for this week that I want to challenge everybody to look at and try to do as we look in the mirror. Write it down. Journal one truth about yourself you've been avoiding. Don't write what sounds good. Write what is true. Even if it's messy, even if it's small. Because one thing we know, truth heals. Then I want you to use Psalm 139, 23, and 24 as a daily prayer. Write it out. Again, I like writing. Tape it to your mirror. Pray it before bed. Let it become the lens through which you see yourself and your path. And then point number 3, and finally, ask the daily check-in. What am I pretending not to know? You might be surprised by what surfaces. That surprise is sacred. Don't push it away. Sit with it. Invite God into it. That's my thoughts. My queen, does this strike a chord with you concerning looking in a mirror at all? And
Yeah.
I mean not appearance,
No.
right? We're not talking about appearance.
All right. I love the 139th Psalm. And I was going to say that when reading that, a suggestion is also to discern between. Why are you laughing?
Because I think episode Thursday is about discernment.
Oh, okay.
We're going there.
Well, maybe
We're going there. So
okay.
Speak it, sister. It'd be better if you spoke it without your pants on, but go ahead.
What drives us? Are we driven by the flesh, or are we driven okay. I don't know how to say this. Give me just a second. We need to be led by Christ and not the flesh in all we do, so that God gets the glory. So sometimes our actions can be wonderful and good, But if it's not for the right reason, if we're not doing all of it for the glory of God,
Mm-hmm.
if we're, I mean, you can have a wonderful ministry, but if we're kind of doing it for ourselves,
Correct.
then it's
Correct.
wrong.
Correct.
So I think in this reflective state, we need to
Mm-hmm.
know that we're doing it all so that God gets the glory.
Well, yeah, because he's the creator of all, and he
Right.
created us.
So we just need to know
and
the purpose of why we're doing it. So,
yes, yes,
right.
yes. And that's
That's all I'm
exactly,
saying.
no, and you're
So
right.
that's a reflective moment. We need to.
And I probably haven't stated it well enough in this episode, and that's what I really want to get to is,
I mean, we've known wonderful people who've done wonderful things, but there's times that
yes,
you just kind of know that maybe it's kind of been more of self and not.
right. No judgment here, but just asking, check yourself.
Yep.
And don't lie. You know, we talked about this last Thursday. Don't lie to yourself.
Right. So I think
Be honest.
Right. So I think
Don't forget what you're
the
saying.
139th Psalm, that search my
Yes.
heart, oh God,
Yes.
and know, that's
Yes.
what I'm trying to say.
So that God can speak it into you and you can understand. And again, I'm saying this not as a guilt trip, not to make you feel bad, because this is what I really want everybody to understand. The Creator,
Mm-hmm.
the Creator created us.
He knows.
He knows. We ain't fooling him 1 minute.
But
we
need to do
fool
this for
ourselves. Yes. So, and we are the apex of his creation. He says that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we were kind of the last. Okay.
Because we were going to be the most problematic.
Well, because we were the pinnacle of the
I
creation
know.
in his image,
Mm-hmm.
right? And no matter what you're pretending not to know, or no matter what you see in that mirror, the Creator loves you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Knowing that,
Mm-hmm.
you need to love you too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of this. How many times have we said, especially in the last couple of weeks, God does not call the flawless.
Right.
How many times have I spoke on this podcast about the main characters in biblical stories?
Right. We're the biggest.
None of them were flawless.
Right.
Right? Some of them make us look saintly.
Yeah.
Right? That is what I'm talking about. And sadly, and I don't mean to go south and talk bad about any groups or anything, but I'm just going to make a very big generalization. There has been a movement for the last several decades in this country, in the West, in the United States, to judge everybody, to make people believe that they are flawless.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's flawless. Newsflash. Nobody. And I mean nobody is flawless. And I just don't think that I don't think they get it. Is that your closing thought, my
Yeah,
love?
that's my closing thoughts.
I love it. Nope, but you're exactly right. So this episode is not heavyweight. I don't want that to be what we think this is. It's a holy mirror. A moment to pause and see yourself clearly. Because the truth about you is not just that you've fallen short. The truth is also this: you are loved beyond measure. You were created to walk with God. And you are called back to Eden. Not because you're perfect, but because you're His. The narrow road isn't for the flawless. It's for the honest. It's for the brave. It's for the ones who face the mirror and say, "Yes, Lord, this is who I am. Now shape me." If today's episode stirred something in you, take a walk, sit quietly, light a candle, look in a real mirror, and ask the Spirit to show you what's true. I'll see you next time on Crusade with Me, where we'll explore how to cut through the fog and discern truth with courage and clarity. Until then, stay on the path, stay awake, and never stop becoming who you were created to be. And as always, crusade with me.